Through something, right?
We're glad you're back with us, and Bob Reeves is here with us this morning. Mary, I think, recruited you to be here this morning to talk to us about the economic development.
What is the Economic Development Committee, Bob?
It is a committee out of the Shelby County Chamber of Commerce. We have two principal goals in our committee. Our first goal is to work with all existing businesses, big or small, try to help them in whatever way we can with the local or state governments or any project they may have that they need help on. Our second goal of our committee is to try to recruit new businesses for Shelby County.
How long have you been how long has this committee been organized?
Well, this is my second year to be chairman of the committee. This year is probably, we've done more this year than we ever have, I think. We're real proud and real excited of what we've been doing. In years past, we've had some real good people work and be good chair people of the committee. But the problem with economic development is you need continuity between year to year. And each year when we would get a new chairman, then that new chairman would start over from scratch. So what we've done starting this year, we've established a sustaining committee that's going to be together from now on. And those people, if they want to drop off, they can, or if somebody wants to be on the committee, they can be added to it. But we won't roll it over every year. So what we're hoping is once we set our goals, that we'll have people that are used to working with each other and can continue it on through.
So even if you had some that drop out, you'd still have some that know what's going on,
right,
and you could go forward. You know,
right.
That's a real important thing. I feel like that'll make it really work. Well, there's been a lot of activity along those committee lines this past year. What are some of the news that you'd like to report to us that's happening? I know y'all just been awfully busy.
Yes, ma'am. What we've done, through the Shelby County Chamber of Commerce, we've contracted with Johnson & Associates, which is an economic development company in Austin, and through them we're involved in a pilot project with the Department of Commerce, in which we're developing a real extensive community profile, which is going to be put on hard disk on a computer, and then they will reproduce floppy disks for us to mail out to potential prospects. Now the beauty part of that is, instead of, if you've seen community profiles in the past of communities, they could be 1 inch thick or 2 inches thick, and a lot of times we feel like that turns off a businessman or a woman if they're looking through it. Maybe they're not interested in all the information in there. By putting it on a floppy disk, when they load it on their computer, then they can go straight to a menu and they can choose. If they want to see taxes, they'll go to taxes. If they want to see education, they can go to that. If they want to print out of the whole thing, they can do that also. So we feel like that's going to be a plus as far as how we're organizing our information and everything. Another thing that we're doing through Johnson & Associates, they are developing a little small brochure on Shelby County that shows the good things about it. This being a pilot program through the Department of Commerce in Austin, and the fact that we're the first community that's doing this, and we're naturally got some money that we're putting out on it, they're going to work extra close with us on recruiting new businesses. Once we get organized and get all of our team together, which that's actually what we're calling our committee as a team, once we get all of that together, then they are going to be funneling leads to Shelby County that are interested in locating in this type of community.
Being the pilot program is probably a great advantage, because we're going to be the community that's looked at from the viewpoint, so that's why we're going to get a lot of extra help. They can point to us and say, see what a great job was done there.
I think you're exactly right. Exactly right. We've already had our committee's gotten together and we've worked hard on getting all of our information together on the community and all. Johnson & Associates has come down on 2 different occasions to work with us. About a month ago, a lady from the Department of Commerce in Austin came in, and she went through a mock presentation, or we did a mock presentation. And what we did, she came in and presented herself as a person looking for a community of our size, and she told us what kind of business we're going to be building. And from that, we made a presentation on Shelby County and what we thought we had to offer. When we were all through, she went back and critiqued us on our presentation. She told us the things that we should not be saying or the things that we should put more emphasis on. And she was a lot of help. Her working with the Department of Commerce, her job is to work with companies. If a company in New York is wanting to locate to Texas, they will probably call the Department of Commerce first, because they're not going to go looking at a lot of towns. This office in the Department of Commerce will then contact communities that they think are prepared and ready to show what they have to offer. And then they will actually travel with that prospect to center or wherever it may be.
Of course, y'all probably work with every aspect here in the city, like with the city, as far as water and that sort of thing, because you have to have those things available. Are we pretty ready to move towards getting industries into Shelby County?
Well, one of the interesting things that I was kind of shocked about when we were talking with the Department of Commerce, they said that once you get your team and your organization together, that to really not look for any results for 5 years. Now, that doesn't mean you may not get lucky and get a business, but it's generally 5 years to get all the groundwork laid. To kind of answer your question, the Shelby County, I think it's called the Industrial Development Board, there is some property available to a business that is interested in locating in this area. The water and sewer is not on the property, but it's relatively close by. That's one of the things we're hoping to do, is actually get it on the property. Of course, electrical and gas, that's no problem.
What about labor force in Shelby County? Is that a problem with us as far as industry wanting to come here? Do we have a shortage of labor?
No, from the surveys we've done so far, like with the Texas Employment Commission, we look pretty good. Our worker comp rates are less than surrounding counties. Now, it's through our own investigation. We haven't seen that through a state authority, but from checking with other businesses in the surrounding counties, our worker comp rates are lower. So that's a big plus. We've got a pretty good labor supply. It's not highly skilled like maybe other counties. When I say that, lots of maybe machine operators and things like that. But for our whole idea is to try to go after and recruit businesses that match our labor force. Maybe it's a type of food industry or something like that, or wood products company, but something that is compatible with Shelby County.
Okay, now you mentioned that, of course, the Commerce office there would be the one that automatically a business would contact coming in. What active what do y'all do actively that will go out and try to talk to businesses as compared to businesses coming and talking to us? Is there a program whereby our committee goes out and looks for them?
Right. Once we get all of our information together, which we're pretty close now, we're probably within 60 or 90 days of having our community profile and all together. What we're going to do then as a committee and with the Department of Commerce and also with this company we're paying, we're going to sit down and target some specific industries that we think are related to companies already here. And then we will actually go out and we'll do small mail outs, maybe 50 or 100 at a time to these companies and try to get their interest up.
And so that would match our labor force,
yes, ma'am.
Available resources that we have and everything.
Right.
So that sounds really super. Who all is on your committee, Bob?
Gosh, there's a big long list of people, so if I leave some of them out, you'll have to forgive me. David Chadwick, James Campbell, Rick Campbell, Suzanne Owens, Jeff Ellington, Ken Allen, Mike Ulmer, Hugh Gamble, Kim Woods, who's with Swepco Southwestern Bell out of Nacogdoches, John Price, Charles Russian, Fred Wolf, F.E. Parker. I'm sure I left some.
If you missed any, you're very good.
We got an excellent team, though, and the idea is, what happens very often is a company is, you don't find out that a company is interested in looking at your area to maybe an hour before they get here. And somebody calls, maybe it's the Department of Commerce or someone else calls and they say, we're going to be there in an hour. So we purposely got a lot of people on the committee. We've broken it up into different categories, and we're trying to cross-train each committee member to where, say, somebody like Hugh Gamble, who works with Intex, naturally his specialty is utilities. But we also want him to be knowledgeable about, say, labor resources, to where when we pull our people together, that we can make a good presentation.
Because with business people, you can't always get the one that you wanted to talk to about something. They could be tied up or out of town, so you've got to have a large number to have a resource to pull from.
I think a few things that would be more important to our county and center in every place is to get business in here. I would think this is probably one of the most, to me, one of the most exciting committees or ideas that we've possibly had to see it generate like that. Because, man, it's just important to all of us to get more business in here.
Well, it's been a really exciting committee for me to be on, and I have to give Mary Haley a lot of the credit for what we're doing now. The first year I was on this committee, I was real frustrated because I wasn't sure what to do, and talked with a lot of people, and by the time the second year rolled around and I was appointed chairman of it again, I had a little bit better idea. But Mary also was real involved in these ideas, and she was going to Austin for meetings, and she got to talking with people, and her and some other ones came up with this pilot program that we're doing now, and really that's given us a base to work from.
It's just, to me, it's just phenomenal for us to be a pilot program for the state. That's just a phenomenal opportunity.
Yeah, it's really going to be good. And we're actually working with two companies now. We've made a presentation to one firm that's interested in locating in this area. For the past couple of 3 weeks, we've been putting together some information for another company that's interested in somewhere between Shreveport and Houston.
And working in real estate, it's quite exciting to be able to have like somebody like a sales associate, which I think we've had the opportunity to be able to have a business coming in. And I mean, me as I'm not going to know everything as a real estate salesman about what's going on, what the community offers, especially to the level of a company wanting to bring in, a couple of hundred people and operate all this stuff. And it's exciting to be able to call on Bob, and Bob put together this committee at a moment's notice almost of people that you can bring this business person in and sit down, and you have an expert in almost every different area that the business client is wanting to know about. Mm-hmm. And it's just a totally different opportunity, to interest business people when they show up in town.
And such a small area, we're one of the smallest towns, to be able to have that force ready when that comes in. And I think that makes a big difference, I'm sure, knowing what to tell them, because I have heard of instances where they didn't show them certain areas, and they would really want to see that, and they think, well, maybe it's real bad since they didn't show it to them. Mm-hmm. And you lost something by not covering that area.
Right. Well, towns that are real successful in recruiting businesses, they have these established sales teams together to where everybody's knowledgeable about what the town has to offer and everything, where they can make good presentations. And, Wayne, you covered on an area that I want to mention. Well, the most important thing to our committee is we've got good people on it, but what we need the help of the community, the support. We need everybody to be real positive about Shelby County, to think this is the greatest place in the world to live, because one of a real good trick of companies that are looking at an area, before they'll ever come to us, they're going to go talk to people. They may stop at a convenience store and ask, well, where's the Chamber of Commerce office, or what do you think of this area? And that's one of the best ways they have of finding out what people really think of their community. So we really need a good positive attitude. The other thing is, if both of the leads that we're working on right now and companies coming here have come to us from other people, if they didn't come through our efforts or from the Department of Commerce, someone told us about it, said, hey, these people are interested, y'all go with it. And that's the kind of help we need. The realtors have worked close with us, and the bankers have worked close with us, and all we're asking for is an opportunity. Don't try to keep it all covered up and maybe blow it all. Just turn it, if they'll pass it on to us. If it's a realtor, we'll bring them in with us, because naturally, they're working for a sale, and we'll work with them as close as we can.
When is the discount going to be ready to mail out and all this promotion? That's exciting to me. Is there any timetable on when all that will be ready to roll?
Well, we're going to have a meeting hopefully next week and get together, and I've got a phone call in with Johnson Associates. They were out of the office last week. I'm hoping that we're about 90 days off. That's what I'm hoping for. It's a real detailed community profile. Just be amazing what all they ask, things I never think of. But we're getting close to having that finished.
How will that be distributed? Is the State Commerce Office going to help as far as distribution of this in the test project? Or?
Well, the actual mail-out and all will be done at the expense of the Chamber of Commerce. The leads developed will come from the Department of Commerce and all.
Is there any number of how many businesses or how many of these? I'm just wondering how many of these suckers we're going to be sending out.
Well, I don't know the exact cost on reproducing those diskettes, but that's the beauty part about them. They're relatively inexpensive. Yeah. You talk about that in a brochure and a stamp. I doubt if you're going to have 45, 50 cents in the whole thing. When we target these areas, and I'm just going to say maybe a poultry application, we may go after and mail 50 or 100 of those out. So I don't think we really landed on a set number that we're going to do. We're just going to try to work hard at it.
Are we going to have to generate the leads, is what I'm coming to, or does the Chamber Office of the State or Commerce Office, whatever, does it have a list of potential mailing addresses?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they do. And here again, this being a pilot program, we kicked around several numbers, but about 20 or 25 leads that they're going to get to us specifically. Now, these leads are going to be geared for Shelby County. That would fit our labor resources and land and everything. Mm-hmm. So those are going to be real good leads to begin with. The other thing that's real important is when a company contacts Austin and says, we're interested in looking at a community, Austin is going to send them to the community they think is the best prepared. So if they see that we have our team together and everybody's, there's a good continuity among everyone, then they're just going to continue to send them to us. Now, they're going to send them to other counties too, because they want the company to have a choice. But they're going to work a lot closer with us.
How does it work, Bob, with I think we all are this new business or this big plant that's wanting to expand into Center Texas, that type of thing would be wonderful. What about the companies that are in trouble in some community up in Mogalosa, Maryland, and their labor force is gone or the taxes are just too high and they're not making it, like the J.C. Penney that was in New York that's now moving to Dallas. Is that an area that we also go to, or has that been explored?
Right. Well, a lot of these companies like you're mentioning, it's hard for us to find out who they are. I think to answer that question is the best resource that we have is the people of Shelby County. People that are doing business across the United States or across Texas or regionally, they know more about what's going on than we do. Like in our particular field, I know more about what's going on up in New York in the refrigeration business than maybe somebody else does. And you have contacts in the realtor industry. So if our people in the community will work with us, they hear a lot of things going on. You have salesmen that come through your office and they'll tell you a lot about what's going on. They'll tell you if a company's unhappy. So what we need to do is get all the people of the community working with us and behind us.
Well, I think this is a good idea, just being here today and letting people know about that, and who to contact about those things when you do hear something. It's kind of like our grievance committee that's here before. A lot of people probably didn't realize. So now they know. They hear some company that's thinking about relocating or that sort of thing, that we have a committee ready and working on it. But I think that pilot program is exciting.
Yeah.
And I think Mary's to be commended, as well as your committee. All you young guys have done a tremendous job the last couple of years with the chamber. They really, it's a vital working part of the county. And we're proud of the work.
It was exciting to feel that somebody's out there trying to do something. We sit around here all the time and you don't think, well, maybe somebody will show up as if just accidentally drop in and build a factory, and that just doesn't happen,
No, people are going out and looking for it.
Yeah.
That's right. Boy, it is real competitive. And don't you think that Shreveport or Longview is not going to almost kill for 30 or 40 jobs?
Oh,
Everybody's looking hard, so we're not necessarily looking for the 300-job company. 10 or 15 or 20, anything we can get.
Really, a large one would be harder to compensate for and make everything in a small area like ours.
Right.
So 30 ones at a time would just be fantastic for Shelby County.
But one thing I want to really stress is that we're here primarily for the existing businesses. If anybody ever has a question or a problem or anything, if they'll call up the chamber office and ask for Mary or ask to get in touch with myself, they might be surprised the contacts we have that we could, maybe it's just legwork, calling Austin and finding out something, but we have a lot of resources available to help them.
Well, I think that's the root of it. The reason you want more industries is to create more people to buy from the people that we have here.
Right.
It's to help the ones that are here to survive it or make a better go of it.
Right.
So that's it.
Well, Bob, I appreciate you coming back.
Enjoyed it. Thank you
Appreciate
for
the
having
work
me.
that you're doing. I'm excited about it. Because nothing could be better for us to see this grow. More people come in, more businesses, and it's nice to know the chamber and Bob's committee is working toward that.
Doing a great job. We appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you for coming
Thanks for
by.
having me.
We're glad you joined us for the coffee shop this morning. Now stay tuned for the men's Bible class and afterwards for the church services. And we'll be here next week.